What's good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the collective clips where you already know. Das, das, das. We get it in. But before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that I'm kicking. And let's get to this intro. Welcome back to the channel. I'm very humbled that you're here with me, and we're going to get into part two of the all-new Super Torta sister. And if you guys recall, by watching the video yesterday, we ended up on a lightweight good note. Okay, this chick right here, it could keep going and going and going because she definitely did, right? Now, if you guys recall from yesterday's video, I woke up to I didn't wake up. I was actually up, but I got a fucking Aquanet hairspray can thrown in my lap, to which she replied, I had something that big in my mouth right now. I was like, oh, wow, right? So here comes my uncle out of the bedroom. Now, let me break it down to you. When I said my uncle went over there and fixed her car, unbeknownst to me that this was going on, they hooked up. They got into a lightweight 2-week relationship. Now, this is where it all goes down. This is where the woman transitioned into being a beautiful, despicable woman, right? Especially when it comes to me, because I wasn't getting no action. If I'm not hitting it, I'm quitting it, right? And she transitioned to a black widow. See, everybody has a black widow from their body, from their hood. And when I say black widow, that is a woman that no matter what guy she's with or who goes around her, bad things follow. This chick had the worst follow her, okay? This chick was reckless when it came to the men that she chose and the men that chose her. It got to a point where men were scared to death to even pass by her house. Seriously. I didn't notice that first, but as time started to go on, I did not want to go over there, period. Didn't give a fuck. My old lady was over there. Didn't care who was over there. El DeBarge could be over there singing Rhythm of the Night. And I'm going to skip that concert because I'm going to tell you right now, this chick was a black widow. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know. Let's get into it, right? Part two. So she ends up getting pregnant from my uncle. We didn't know she was pregnant at the time. So about 2 weeks after them developing this relationship, and it was pretty hot and heavy. Like he was over there every day. It was crazy. It was like, damn, I'm fucking one sister, you're in the other. This party, eh? You know what I'm saying? I was proud. I was like, we're keeping it in the family. I don't know to what degree of cousin, if you ever get this chick pregnant, I'm going to have. I don't know if I'm going to be the uncle cousin or the cousin uncle, or whatever it's going to be, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's there. It looks good. That's good. According to you, it tastes all right. Shit. More power to you. So I wasn't trying to impede the progress of their relationship. And because this chick was now sleeping with not the enemy, but the camarada, right? My tío, it was all good. Like she started to like me. She wanted me around a lot more. There was no more kicking me out. There was no more, hey, you can't be here when my sister's not here, which I try to do a lot because I like to see the visuals, right? She was like, just cool with me. So I was like, cool, man. Finally, we've turned a new page, turned a new leaf. We're good with each other. It's all cool. My uncle is doing the Bash Brothers. He's doing the thrasher in there. Every night it was loud. It was loud and exhausting. My ears were exhausting on what I was hearing. I was looking at her sister like, why don't you sound like that, right? Maybe I wasn't working with what my uncle was. But on we go, right? You know what I mean? He's in there tearing that shit up. So 2 weeks later, we had a tragedy. I get a phone call. My uncle's been shot. He was shot in Salinas, California. Now, you guys got to understand the background of my uncle was he was a bulldog. My uncle was not from Fresno. He was not from Fresno County. He actually was from Winton and Livingston, in between Winton and Livingston, very well known in that area. My uncle went to prison in Corcoran as a non-affiliated, meaning he wasn't a gang member. He was never from a barrio. No, he was a deep boy. Like he sold dope. He didn't traffic women, but he was a coyote. He brought women over. I guess you can call it trafficking. He brought them over, right, and helped them get jobs and helped them get apartments and made a lot of money in doing so. That just was his thing. He wasn't a bad man, but he wasn't your typical white-collared criminal. He was black-collared like a motherfucker, right? So anyways, but he was a good, solid dude, a good family man, loved his family, and would do anything, give you the shirt off his back and give the big old pipa to your sister-in-law. So, hey, we were winning all the way around. Tragedy struck the family. I get a phone call. He's been shot in the neck 3 times, and he was transferred from Salinas, California. Northerners got him, right? He was set up by a homeboy of his. a drug deal gone bad, and a northerner who's been convicted. I'm not snitching on anyone. He's been convicted. He's doing all day for this crime. He shot my uncle 3 times in the back of the neck. It was a setup, right? So anyways, all my family members are getting his calls. I'm at the chick's house, the one he's fucking with. She's wondering where he's at because he's usually home by then or comes slides through. I get this call. She panics. We panic. We all jump in the car and we head up to San Francisco. He's in San Francisco General. They flew him there from Salinas because he was in surgery. So when we get there, there's a lot of family members. Of course, all the male family members, we're all pretty fucking upset. We're all talking about this homeboy that allegedly set him up. My father's there. Everyone was there. They're telling me the story. We're riling up the troops. We're mounting up. We're about to, it was going to be a cold black night, you know what I mean? We're about to get our Warren G shit. We're going to regulate. Regulators were mounting up. The women were all crying because my uncle was loved. There was women in and out of that hospital, panties on his chest, vibrators, all kinds of different unusual things that only Wes Watson knows, the things that you peg and paddle with. Like, there was women. So this chick was getting a little emotional and at the same time a little jealous because she was seeing this troop of women coming through, but he just had it like that. And saying with the Aquanet spray can, Sasuke, you know he's winning. So anyways, I remember my uncle could talk. He could not talk, but he could see. He had all these tubes hooked up to him, so he was aware, and which was crazy, being shot 3 times at point blank range in the back of the neck. He was paralyzed from the neck down at this point. He got hit with a 22, and anyone that knows 22s do damage because they bounce around inside you. So he was pretty tore up. He bloated to about 3 times his size. It was just a bad situation. We were trying to be lighthearted when we were around him because we didn't want to make him feel any worse than he already felt. But I remember our conversation, and the chick's in there, and my baby's mom's in there, and we're talking to him, and he's he's at the point where he knows he's probably going to die. He didn't until about 6 months later, but he did though, right? And I remember she's joking with him. She goes, what do you know what I'm saying? What a waste. And she grabbed his thing and she goes, what a waste. He couldn't feel it. And he's just looking with his eyes. And I know in his eyes, he's like, bitch, right? Grab it harder. But she was like, what a waste. You can't do nothing with this anymore. And then he's looking like that. And then fucking, he hollers out like this, pump, right? Which I could only say that was, bitch, we'll use a pump, whatever, right? 6 months later, my uncle passes. I'm in Sandy Mush in the county jail. And he passes. I get the news. An officer comes to my door. Hey, your uncle passed. Your family reached out. And it was a sad day. I wasn't able to go to his funeral because I was locked up and all that. But it is what it is, right? That's notch number 1 in the Black Widow's belt. So upon my uncle meeting her, 2 weeks later, he's shot and he dies. Okay, life moves on. And I move on from her sister. Shit just doesn't work out. It doesn't work out because I'm in the county jail that same time. And her sister decides to come visit me with hickeys all the way from the top of her ear to her eye, to her nose, to her neck, right? Talking about she got stung by mosquitoes. Well, I don't know if mosquitoes had lips like that. So I already obviously understand that she's already moved on from me, and it goes from worse to worse to worse, right? And so our relationship is no good. I'm still a good parent to my daughter. I'm in my daughter's life, but at the same time, me and her mother on different courses in our life. I'm trying to fucking gangbang and do my thing. She's trying to get gangbanged and do their thing. And that's it. And so I don't have too much interaction with her sister. I see her in passing every once in a while, but I'm no longer the brother-in-law. There's several more brother-in-laws in a 9-month period at that time, right? So we don't really see each other. So she pops up one day. I have an uncle. My uncle was born with mental issues, and he has this thing where he has panic attacks and he thinks he's dying, and so he calls the EMTs all the time. It's to the point where we tell him, lay on the fucking ground and wait for the ambulance to come. That's just, we're so used to it. He wasn't dying, and just in his mind, he thought he was, right? And so he calls them, and who walks in? All I see is a big ass. I'm in the kitchen cooking, and he's laying on the ground, right? Hola, hola, right? And here comes fucking the EMTs. And it was crazy because all the family's eating chorizo and papas, just looking at him like, you stupid ass. They come in, but we understand he has issues, so we're sympathetic, but, the family's used to it. It was an everyday thing, it seemed like. And all I see is a big ass, and I'm mesmerized, right? I'm in the middle of eating a papa, and I spit it out. What the fuck is that, right? And she turns around, and it's her. She looks a little different, but I recognize. I'm like, damn, Tina, what's up, girl? It's been a minute. She's like, damn. I said, well, what's that? The EMT? Shit, you're doing. It's better than just selling pussy, right? You're doing it. She had went to school, and she was doing her thing. So we start to catch up. And then meanwhile, she knows my uncle personally. So she was like, I didn't know it was him, right? So she's fucking hitting this fucking thing all across the floor and everything. They get him. She's banging it so much on thing. He said, can I just get up and walk to the ambulance? Right? She's fucking him up. she's too busy chopping it up with me. So she's like, hey, here's my number. Reach out. I haven't talked to you for a while. And whatever. We're talking about my daughter and whatever. And so she ends up hooking up with this dude named Yogi from A-Town. Facts, right? Hooked, sprung, just on this dude, right? I seen pictures on Facebook. They were all hooked up together. They supposedly got married and all this, right? About 4 or 5 months after getting married and all that, they find him hanging from the rafters. Gone, right? And I didn't put two and two together. I didn't know what they were going through in life, what he was going through. He was a pretty hardcore gang member. He was with the business. So it's not every day you see a motherfucker that's out there in the streets clapping shit, clapping bomb cheeks, just living his life, does that. But I don't know if he did, if his money was funny, if his relationship was funny, whatever. He dies, right? I remember the funeral, man. I remember passing through there. Wouldn't go there because there's a gang of sureños there, but I passed by, you know what I'm saying, for respect. And so I remember talking to her one day. I'm like, damn, what happened? She was like, man, I came home. I found him like this. And I don't know. I said, damn, Tina, you got that killer pussy, right? She was like, nah, I didn't. I said, well, first my uncle, now Yogi. I'm starting to put two and two together. Okay, she hooks up with another guy. Another Southerner, right? He's from LA. He moves from LA to A-Town. She was from Atwater, Winton area, right? It's by Merced. There's a lot of Southsiders there, right? So she had the affinity for Southsiders. In fact, she used to wear blue and think she was a Southsider when she was younger and all that. Her sister was a Northerner. That was my chick at the time. And then she was a Southsider. I don't know how that worked out, but whatever. Anyways, she hooks up with this dude from LA. Within about a month of them being together, they were going pretty recklessly, right? They were going pretty hardcore in the paint. She found her new man. I remember running into her son. She had a son from the homeboy Chino, who I talked about in my video yesterday, that was trying to wink at me with the fake knife, right? I see him. He's a little Southsider now, running around Atwater, all Southerned out. And I'm like, oh, what's up, mijo? How you doing? Because I remember when his parents were cracked out the game, and I used to fucking take care of him. So he's, you know how it is in past relationships. You become close to the family members. So to me, he's always going to be mijo. He's a youngster, right? And he was like, oh, my dad this, my dad that. And he was calling this dude from LA his dad. And I was like, what about your dad, Chino? Oh, fuck that buster. I was like, damn, that fool was gangbanging on his dad because his dad was a Northerner. Whatever, right? I took it with the grain of salt. Sword gang, you can tell by the writing on the wall. I took it by the writing on the wall. And not even a month later, this dude from LA gets shot. And that's that. And he dies in her presence. She was in the car. They blasted out the car. He's gone. So now I'm at the point of, okay, 1, 2, 3. Sword gang. 3 strikes, she's out, right? So now I'm bullshitting with the homeboy, and he asked me, hey, whatever happened to your baby's mom? Remember we used to kick it, all of us and all that? And I said, yeah. And then her sister gets mentioned. Like, remember her sister for? Hey, did you hear fucking that dude died? I said, yeah, my uncle too. And they're like, that's a fucking Black Widow. Now, up until that point, I didn't know what a Black Widow was. And basically, just like a Black Widow will consume her mate, it seemed like this woman's pussy was consuming these guys, right? Or it was just bad luck. I don't know if she had the voodoo, the juju on her, right? But she has something going on. So anyways, time moves on. She ends up hooking with this other guy who's a Native American, Southsider Native American dude. She made sure that she did the whole we are the world, right? And they were together for about a year. And guess what? Y'all hold. You guessed it? You guessed it, right? She came home one day and guess what? No laughter, another rafter hanging from the rafters, right? This time it starts to become suspicious enough for the cops to pull her to the side and be like, hey, what up, man? Hey, you know, what's going on here? That's too suspicious. They're not counting. They're not even talking about my uncle and the other dude that got shot, that she happened to be in the mix. This is 4. Norte gang, right? 4 now. We're throwing up 4s. The 4 horsemen, okay? The 4 horsemen of her pussy that is the apocalypse. Something bad is happening. Look, I run into her. One day we're having a heart-to-heart. She gets at me on Facebook. She reaches out to me. This is years after this passed. She stood single for a while. She ends up working at a facility in Atwater. This facility is for old folks. So she's around older individuals. So there's a lot of debt that surrounds that. You know, people get old. That's where they go to. That's where their kids put them, you know, their parents to take care of them at the very end. So they don't last too long. Well, my grandfather was put into that home, and he was there for about 5 years. My grandfather was an old school player. In fact, we used to take him out for the weekends, take him to the casino, and all the chicks were on him because he had green eyes, old school Mexicano, you know what I'm saying? Women loved him to the end. Well, while he was in that facility, guess who pops up working in that facility? We go to visit my grandfather. It was like his birthday, or it was some type of holiday. Usually what we do is pull him out, or we just go visit him. taking menudo. He liked to eat menudo, so my tia would take menudo, tortillas, everything. We pulled them. They had like an outdoor patio. Take them out there to eat, spend some time with them. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's what you do with your family. You take care of yours, right? So I would go every once in a while because out of all his grandchildren, he loved us all. I can't hate, but he just loved me a little bit more. That's just how that was, right? We were both players from the Himalayas, or players from the Jalisco layer. It was him, right? So he actually was from Juarez. But anyways, we're fucking chilling, or Zacatecas. Excuse me, that's my other grandfather. So I look and again, I'm captivated by big ass. I don't know what it is about a woman with a big ass, but it's very captivating for men like me, right? I've always been an ass man, so I just see it and I'm starstruck. And it looks like a star. It doesn't look like a starfish. It looks like a star, right? So I'm seeing it and I'm like, ghetto superstar. That is what she turned around. I'm like, what? Tina, what's up? Damn, I should know that ass by now, right? You got a bubble like a black widow, literally. So anyways, she comes, hey, what's up? Gives me a hug, and I try to dust it off because I don't want her juju juice on me because, man, I like breathing, you know? And my grandfather's there. And she's like, oh, that's your grandfather? I didn't know because his last name was Esparza, so we'd have different last name, whatever, right? So she sees him, whatever. And she was like, oh, yeah, he's always trying to come on to us. He always tries to pinch us in the butt and shit. And I said, yes, you know what I'm saying? You know, we get down. Right? He says, hey, just don't say no, because if you say no, then we got to go. So anyways, she's working there. Not even a year after she's working there. And I mean, you could just chalk it up to the game. He was old, but he contacts pneumonia and he goes through his motions and he passes, right? Under her care. Five men. The Black Widow venom is real, right? So this is what happens. Couple years later, and I don't even add that one to her fucking credentials because he was old, right? It just is what it is. It wasn't like she was boning him or he was boning her. Maybe, knowing my grandfather, I know he got a couple pinches and he had to. I hope so, right? With that big old ass. But so a couple years later, man, I'm chilling. This is back when Facebook was popping, and all of a sudden I have a friend request. It's her. And I'm like, damn, girl, she's all cholad out. She got fucking the lokes on and her hair's all hairsprayed out the game. Aquanet. You know, she has a history with fucking cans of Aquanet, right? Órale, tío, rest in peace. And so as I'm chilling right there talking to her, I'm like, what's up, girl? I could see, you know, when the conversation shifts from just being friends and friendly and, hey, how you doing? And reminiscent to kind of like, hey, I want to suck your chorra. That's kind of was her tone. Or maybe I was just imagining it. But I started to run with it a little bit. Even though that was my baby mama's sister, I figured it's been a lot of years in between. At this time, I had a couple other baby mamas. So I was like, there's been enough time to elapse that it isn't reckless, right? It isn't bad. Maybe in the eyes of the beholder, it is. But in the eyes of the fucking go boulder, it's not. So I start to pop back. Oh, we should kick back. I always, you know, you should always be with me instead of my sister. And this and that. But it's a lighthearted conversation. We're just friends. And it never went to that point. That's the truth. That's the truth. I would never do that really with her because I just knew her too well. Plus, she tried to have me hit a gang of times. Like, no way. Plus, there's motherfucker, like, I don't like rope. I've never liked rope. So we're just going to go from that. I don't like anything long. Anything long, but besides what I own, right? That's it. So as I'm sitting there talking to her and we're having this lighthearted conversation that seems to get into the freaky side, I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, just send me some pictures or something. I start getting maniacal. I realize I've overstepped at this point and I'm kind of like, nah, girl, I make it seem funny. And she's like, yeah. Like it's funny too, right? But she was damn near, she was over there flicking it up. I know she was, right? And that was that. 2 days later, I catch a case and go to prison. God, I don't know what it is about this woman, but every man that gets around her either ends up in prison, can't be resuscitated, way up top somewhere hanging, got pneumonia, got shot. I mean, look, this is the way that this chick was. She tried to reach out like, say, 3 years ago. Hey, what's up? Block. I'm cool. You are the reason why my hairs are gray. Look, I know people don't believe in the juju and the voodoo and the boo-boo and all that, but I'm here to tell you guys, some women do have that juju juice. Some men do too. You know, they just can't win. Everything they go around, like she had the Midas touch in reverse. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Midas touch, everything you touch turns to gold. She had everything you touch turns to death. And I'm cool. I didn't want that in my life. So anyways, that's how it ended up with that super torta. We were friends. We were cool, but everyone around her didn't last. I don't know what she's doing in this day and age, but if there's a man that is with her, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, bro? Run. Oh, yes. There will be sangre. I guarantee. I guarantee. Motherfuckers. Hey, look, her first old man, crackhead. Like, he used to be in the bathroom. Hola, hola, right? Her first old man. Everyone in between has either been incarcerated or gone. I'm telling you guys right now, I wouldn't touch that with your pole. Straight up. Anyways, if you guys have enjoyed this Super Torta conclusion part 2, we are going to get this week into Super Torta, my wifey one, part 8. So be on the lookout for that. I know a lot of people have been waiting. They already gave up on me. Don't. We also got a Super Norteño coming up today. What? Pepe knows best? What does Pepe know that we don't know? We're going to find out. I want you guys to go tap in. Also, man, I dropped a banger ass video. I'm going to drop another one on the Gunners Collective TV. If you know, I've been very passionate about the Baby Emmanuel case. So if you're into that and not just comedy, go support me. I appreciate it. Your likes, your views, your hypes, they really help my channel out a lot. And I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Hit a 1 if you guys want more content like this, and I got you. Thumbs up or thumbs down. See, Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I got the crown. Dominate, right? And it just is what it is. And that's the bottom line, because Gun said so.